Welcome back from that break. It's Frontline. It's still Frontline this morning. That was news from Adeleke Adebola. Moving away from what's trending news, Transformation Tuesday and the rest, we have an issue on ground which we'll be discussing on our interview segment now. And we have a guest in the house, CEO No1 Travels. He is a travel consultant, no other person than Mr. Shego Ogendigbe. Thanks for coming around.
Thank you for having me on the show.
All right, thank you for having me. That's what he said. Thank you for having me on the show. All right, so moving away from that, on today's topic, we would be discussing the effect of visa restrictions and deportation on our Nigeria economy, especially with the way things are going now. The economy had not been too good and rosy. Just recently this morning, World Bank confirmed that our economy is slipping day by day since 1995 down to 2018 and up to now. And yet we have issues of restrictions where we could actually get some stops from. Some of these young Nigerians can actually go out, both old and young, to search for greener pastures. But in this case, there have been restrictions on some particular country. And just recently, as of yesterday, Bukola Saraki, the Senate president, had called on the government of Qatar to end its visa restriction placed on Nigeria. Importantly, he's asking that they end the visa restriction placed on Nigeria because it's actually going to open doors to so many things. But meanwhile, our guests here, we would be discussing this effect and some other issues around visa restrictions and deportation. Before now, there'd be issues of alleged crimes perpetrated by Nigeria in some of this country. What is your take on the reasons why these issues are happening? Most of Nigerians travel abroad. Why do you think issues come back and they say, okay, fine, they've done this and they've done that, and yet they deport them?
All right, we should, let me start like this. The issue of travel is good.
Okay.
I always advise people to take a step to travel.
Okay.
But when people travel, what do they do? That's where the problem starts from.
That's a basic point. What do they go
What
there
do they
to
go
do?
there to do? Now, a lot of people, you find out that a lot of Nigerians travel without a purpose. You ask a normal Nigerian and say that, who tells you, I want to travel? And if you ask them the question, why do you want to travel? They don't have answers to it. So you see people not having enough information about where they are traveling to. They just decide to travel and they just travel, and thank God for the numerous fraudulent agents that are out there.
Yeah,
so they just take you out and then they dump you somewhere, and that's where the problem starts from. When you get to a place and you didn't meet your expectation, then frustration sets in, and when there is frustration, it will lead to crime. Now, in the case of Qatar, the ban on Nigeria in Qatar has been around for a while. Now, when I started way back as at 2009, the ban has been coming on and off. Okay. Now, Qatar is a small community of people. They were less than, their initial population was about 600, 700,000. Now, the moment Nigerians knew that there's a place called Qatar, where construction is going on, where there is oil money, people started moving in droves to Qatar. In a short space of time, the population of Qatar was approaching 1 million. So there is a place of the host country managing their population. Their
population with the size.
With the size.
And what they have.
And what they have. Now, it's not all countries that are like Nigeria. We are running to, statistically, by 180 million. I can tell you, in reality, will be more than, will be well over 200 million. So in a place whereby a country is trying to monitor their population, monitor their resources, and we see a lot of Nigerians going. So they started with saying, okay, for this season, Nigerians should not come in. And then over a period of time, they will remove the ban and say, okay, you can start giving visas to Nigerians. Now, we should understand what type of visa. Qatar was giving people 5 years work visa.
Okay.
It wasn't a normal tourism visa whereby you just go to visit. So when you say restriction, are they saying that don't come for tourism? No, they are saying that don't come here to come and work because we have so much of your people.
So much of your people.
Now, we now move to why did Qatar take such decisions? Is as a result of what you and I would do when we travel, or the things that we've done, the things that Nigerians have done. Recently, it was in the news, I think about 2 weeks ago, 5 Nigerians went to Dubai. 2 days after getting there, they robbed the bureau to change. Now, as a person, how do you think other Nigerians will be perceived by that act.
How the international bodies actually look at us,
from that angle. So do you expect, are you now saying that Qatar should wait for Nigerians to come and rob them? And how do you now verify who is a legitimate traveler or not?
Who has a real purpose
or not? So it is the ban that we are experiencing now is as a result of the activities of some people, which are our own people outside, and significantly it will have its own economic effect.
All right, so how does this affect our economy? Because I know a lot of things will go down in between the lines. So how does this restrictions affect our economy? Because it's not just only Qatar. We have so many other countries too.
Yes.
That actually, we just say, okay, you go out for visa. As a travel consultant, you try and put these things together, and yet they don't give the person. So it's affecting our economy. How does it affect the economy? How does it even affect you as an individual?
Okay, now, when we're talking about the economy, we're talking about money, we're talking about how people are living. The truth is, there are a lot of, all economies are interdependent. There are stuffs that we don't produce. There are stuffs that other countries produce that we need. Now, apart from that, on a global scale, Nigerians in diaspora are sending millions and trillions of dollars and billions of dollars into this economy, either directly, either to their relatives, either to whosoever, usually because of exchange rate. That's why people travel. Now, if there are restrictions, there will be one or two people that want to do legitimate business with these countries where there are restrictions. Okay? For example, a place like South Africa, where we get bulk of our apples from. There was a time there was xenophobic attacks, and there was an incident whereby a full plane that took Nigerians to South Africa, they deported all of them, citing the yellow card issues and all of those. Now, look at the economic impact of that. People have spent money to purchase visa, to get their visa. They've bought their tickets. They've spent money. Some want to do legitimate business, which they couldn't do by the result of the act of some people. So it all still boils down to our individual character when we are outside, and it is going to affect everybody. That's how it works.
Okay. All right. So does this all act discourage or affect visa processing?
People are encouraged. When you see,
so despite everything happening, it's people
want to travel now more than ever. Okay, you said it was in the news this morning now that the economic outlook of Nigeria has been declining. Do you understand? Now, the harder it gets is like pushing people to the wall. Okay. The more they want to escape.
They want to just run away.
Yes. So the harder you push them to the wall, the more they are going out. So if you say you don't want people, you don't want people to travel that much, or you don't want them to run away that much, then this economy must improve. There's a class of people now that I've been studying for a while that I picked a lot of interest in, and these are the medical people. The rate at which professional medical doctors and nurses are leaving Nigeria is alarming.
So you get them more often.
Once they finish their MBBS and they write different exams, they write for US, I think they write PLAB in UK. Once they pass these exams, they relocate with their family. Now, the population in Nigeria is increasing, all right, but our, how do I put it now? The intellect, those that really have things to offer, and they have the means to afford this travel, they are leaving. So it's having significant economic impact on us. So what is the solution? How we should be looking at. But now, I can tell you, Nigerians are willing to travel more than ever. You hear the news of insecurity. As you are hearing more of insecurity news, people are planning to move out. When they say that fuel price is going up, people are planning to move out. When you sleep in your house and there is no light, the moment you are finding yourself,
I just want to leave this country.
I just want to get out of this place.
So, okay. So with this whole general outlook of things, because just as I said yesterday, okay, this morning, I read also in the news that 2 Nigerians were killed in South Africa again as a result of xenophobic attack again. And we still see so many people will still come down to you and like, South Africa, that is where I want to go to. does it affect in a way for the younger ones? Like
it does. It does. You see, what my experience with those that want to travel, when you see someone who is desperate to travel, as a travel consultant, even when you are giving quality advice, they don't believe you.
they'll say no.
They will tell you that is where I want to go. Why? Because an uncle, a brother, a friend went there and is sending money. Whether he's doing illegal businesses, whether he's doing drugs, whether he's doing, it does not matter. All they want is they want to go there. Now, this xenophobic attack that we are talking about, it all boils down to Nigerians are, the South Africans feel that we are taking up their space. And with my years of experience in this business, I can tell you, when we focus on a place, everybody moves in that direction. Like 2 years ago, it was like US opened their boundaries for their borders for Nigerians, and everybody was just going to US. Once upon a time, it was South Africa. Once upon a time, it was Dubai.
So once it's a place, everybody
Once it's a place, everybody's going. And what now happens is the people of that place starts to feel like you are choking them. Okay? And what does it mean to choke them? The character of those that have traveled, it is what we are exporting that is coming back to us. So for the young ones, it's good to travel. Don't get me wrong. It's good to travel. But I always advise people, the best way to travel is to go visit a place.
Okay.
To come back. If you're opportunity to travel, you will learn a lot of things. You see development in these countries. You will see how far they've gone. You will see systems that work. And that's why personally I feel that our leaders can do more. Okay, because you've been to these places, you've seen these things that work. Most of these things that are working are private businesses. They are private sector driven. Okay, so why not come implement these things here? How is it that difficult to do these things? You understand? So for our young ones, not to just escape into thin air, we need to fix our home. Once we fix our home and we start to build credible reputation, you find out that visas will come more easily. People will be allowed to travel more easily. Even those that travel will be at rest. The attacks will reduce and we can live a better life.
All right, let's go on a quick break. By the time we return, Frontline continues and interview also continues. We'll be right back. Welcome back from that break. It's still Frontline this morning. We're still discussing the effect of visa restriction and deportation on our economy. And I have a guest here with Mr. Segun Ogedin, the CEO, No1 Travels. Of course, we'll be dissecting a lot of things concerning the effect of visa restrictions in Nigeria. But just recently, some Nigerians were deported, about 722 from Ghana, on allegation of cybercrime, prostitution, illegal stay. How has this case affect our younger people from traveling? I know we have lots of people, younger people especially, that come that, okay, please, I want to travel and I want to go to somewhere. Yes. Has it affected the rate at which they get this visa just because of these illegal crimes that happen?
Yeah, you see, in the case of Ghana, Ghana is like my second home. In fact, some people call me Kwesi. Okay. Now, when you talk about cyber crimes in Ghana, it is real. My first time in Ghana years back, the person I met with, my host then told me that Ghanaians don't commit crime. Now, that's a broad statement. It's a very broad statement. But that if there is a crime, it's committed by Nigerians. Wow. Okay? And later on, I met someone who was taken from Nigeria, told that he was going to get a job there. And when he got there, they locked him up in a house. They gave him a system and told him, start doing cybercrime. He said he has not learned about it, he doesn't know it, but start doing cybercrime. So the cybercrime was already taking is now becoming organized crime. And it still boils down to what I said earlier, that Ghana cannot take that. And that will determine how I will be addressed. that will determine how some younger ones who wants to go will be addressed. Now, if you look at the demography of those that are doing these cyber crimes, those that are doing prostitutions, they are youths, all right? They are the young ones, middle-aged people. Now, if you look at the demography of people who intend to travel, who have so much energy, who are positively minded, who want to move to get greener pastures for themselves, for their family legitimately, they still fall within the same demography. So how do they now separate those that are traveling legitimately and those that are not? Now, Nigeria and Ghana, we are part of ECOWAS, so we don't need visas. All you need is an international passport, and you can go to Mao to take a bus and go to Ghana.
Get to Ghana.
Now, the rule is that while you are in Ghana, you shouldn't stay more than 3 months. That is the rule. Okay. Now, to avoid people being deported from Ghana, like Ghana may, to avoid people being deported, all you have to do is every month, or let's say every 3 months, come out of Ghana, okay, and go back inside, and then they will give you the 3 months again. But instead of doing that, people just stay.
Go there and stay permanently.
And just stay permanently, as if it's Nigeria.
And I think Ghana and Nigeria have this brother-like
We
relationship.
we have this brother-like relationship. So it now shows that if our brother Ghana starts to deport us, it shows that we have crossed the line. You understand? It shows that you have crossed the line. Now I'll tell you, Easter is coming.
Okay.
Easter season, there is a mass drove of people coming in from Côte d'Ivoire, traveling down towards Edo. You can verify this information, and I'm telling you what I've seen.
Okay.
Traveling to Edo, traveling towards the south. Young ladies who are into prostitution in Ivory Coast and in Ghana, in that region, they come home during the Easter period and they come home during Christmas. They'll buy stuffs for their families and the likes. If someone like that gets home and says, Mama, I've come back from my journey, take this, take this, take this, the younger sister will say that
I want to go there.
I want to go there
with the
too.
mindset that they're making lots of money.
Lots of money from there. So you see, this problem, this challenge is not something we can just treat from the surface. And when you say Ghana is deporting Nigerians, then we have started to cross our boundaries. And we need to check it. And we can only start solving it from within.
All right. There had also been a report of an increase in online presence, as currently close to 97 million Nigeria internet users, according to NCC. And the rate of cybercrime and fraud had increased, as Nigeria is being ranked 3rd place country in cybercrime. Does this act also deter visa denial?
Directly to visa denial, I would say no. Okay. Because that when you talk about visa processing, there are things that the embassies are looking for in place of documentation, in place of what's this person doing. They consider travel purpose, they consider travel history, and a whole lot of other things. Now, whether you are a fraudster online or not is not part of the criteria.
Okay.
But trust me, technology these days, the world is watching. The world is watching. A country like US, they are so sophisticated that you might not be arrested, but they might be watching. That's why when you go to developed countries, they do random checks. They just say, okay, you come outside and ask you for the questions. Okay, so if you look at cybercrime, has it affected how people are granted visas, or how does it affect visa decision? Not directly, but it will have its own impact. There was a story of an American woman who traced an internet fraudster down to Nigeria to apprehend him. You understand? So how do we now stop our young guys from doing internet fraud?
It also boils down to economy, and that is why it does.
Our economy. And then it boils down to family. It boils down to home. I was discussing something with my wife recently that when homes fail, it spills over. Like me, way back when we were going to school, all they need to tell you is a sentence. Not your many one she. Remember the son of whom you are. Now, that statement is coming from a whole lot of things. cultural background, how we've been taught, how we've been brought up, the caning and the chastisement you have received. So when they say remember the son, you remember the cane, you remember everything. So you can't do any. But since homes started failing, and how did these homes fail? The economy failed. A lot of parents that had good jobs way back then, we had those stories that once you're out of a university, they'll give you a car, they'll give you a house. Once those things faded away, okay, the parents couldn't cope. The children moved to the streets. They are fending for themselves. Go and take the statistics in the university. Say Lautech, for example. How many parents are responsible for the students there? So it's still the economy. Do you understand? The problem within is pushing us outside. Okay? So when we now put pressure in whatever community we are in, then they start to push us out. They push us back home. So it's better we start fixing it from now. We start fixing it from home. So does their act affect us? Yes and no. It does, but not directly. Okay. So if you want to get your visa now, they won't say, okay, are you an internet fraudster? But there could be some technical questions that they ask. Have you committed any crime before? You say no. The moment you get there and they discover that is a yes, then you are coming back home.
Is there a room to say yes?
Will you want to say yes?
I needed to no. So okay, just to be fair, so we don't have issues like that. People coming back to say okay.
Okay. This is it.
At least I said the truth.
Okay, the truth is parallel. When it comes to visa processing, when they ask you a question, just be truthful. Okay. The number one thing any embassy is looking for is honesty. If you want to go and charge your phone, tell them my battery is low, there's no light in Nigeria. I just want to go and charge it. And they will consider you based on the fact that you want to go and charge your phone. But when you lie, you see, you can't lie consistently. And that's where a lot of people have issues with their visa processing. You give your job to an agent, the agent just package something for you. You send it to the embassy, they refuse you. Now you want to apply again, and your information is not consistent to what was given before. So you've lied. Once they know you've lied, to get your visa is in God's hands.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. I would like to take you back to something you said earlier on. You said sometimes that before now, the statistics of people trying to travel out now, especially the medical doctors.
Yes.
Now, let's bring it out to our medical system here in Nigeria. Okay. Looking at the fact that most times we don't even have enough doctors in some hospital, and yet you have some who want to travel outside the country and become doctors there because they're writing exams to probably work there and help their economy.
Yeah.
Now, looking at our own present economical state, would it be safe for us to say, okay, the restriction is good enough for medical doctors to just stay at home and take care of our Nigerians, or it's better for them to go out, gain more, and still come back?
Okay, now let me tell you, when there are restrictions, there will still be some, it can't be a total lockdown.
Okay.
Let me tell you, these developed countries, they have statistics. A country like Canada will tell you that for the year between 2019 and 2020, we need, let's say, 5,000 nurses. How did they arrive at that statistics? Okay, so even if they are not giving other people visas, they know they need nurses, so they will open their doors to nurses. You understand? So when there are restrictions, it's not general. Now, I came across the statistics, was talking about the ratio of a doctor to the population of a country. They talked about UK, talked about, you have countries that have one doctor to about 300 people. Nigeria of 2 million. I'm not sure we can boast of 100,000 or 200,000 doctors. So even at 200,000 to 2 million, we can't achieve that.
We have below.
Way below. You understand? And you now look at this health system. How do we prevent these doctors from moving out? Make them comfortable. Give them equipment. Lately, I've had some terrible experiences when it comes to medical treatments in Nigeria. So you need to make them feel comfortable. You need to make them feel valued. Nobody wants to stay. Okay, there's a very close friend of mine. We grew up together. He has relocated with his family. He has joined the train. He's in UK now. He's a doctor. I asked him one simple question. I said, what's the difference between practicing medicine in Nigeria and practicing medicine in UK? He said, Shegun, you have everything to practice medicine here.
A few of the equipment.
So for him, that is the key thing, that I have everything I need to practice medicine here. The knowledge is the same. Okay, now bringing it back home, if we can now make everything that is needed to practice medicine available for these doctors, I think if not all of them, few of them will still consider staying back. The medical system in Nigeria needs to be fixed as a matter of urgency.
That means not everybody still wants to stay
not
back
everybody.
at the end of the day.
There's something we call medical tourism.
Okay.
That's people traveling out of Nigeria for medical treatments.
Okay.
It costs Nigeria a lot of money, in millions of dollars. Cost that should have been put into our healthcare system that people prefer to take out and spend.
And most of those doctors are probably doctors from Nigeria.
There's no place you get to, you won't get Nigerian doctors.
So meaning we're paying money, huge amount of money, to go out to take treatment for those ones who literally are supposed to be in the country to take care of us, to cut costs. To cut costs is as simple as that. So India is, India now, people call me, at least like 3 firms have been in touch with me, that okay, they have medical doctors that can treat Nigerians from India. They will arrange the paperwork, we bring them over and all of that. My dad had an issue recently. The first thing I was considering was, okay, how do we get this man out of it? Even me. The first thing you said
was because we don't trust the health system. You understand? So when it comes to tourism, when it comes to travel, priority on the list, if you can afford it, a lot of people will just travel. So look at the impact of, look at the amount of dollars in billions, in millions that is taken out in form of medical tourism. I think there was a story I read sometimes online. The doctor is a Nigerian doctor and he traveled abroad. So he was able to, he performed an operation on an American lady. She had tumor and she had a baby inside. But the baby was still very small, I think about 2 months old. So he was able to remove the baby out successfully, operate the tumor, return back the child, and yet still give birth to the child at the end of the 9 months. Yes. And the baby is saved, both mother and child, LD. This is a Nigerian doctor that traveled out of the country. So and he's doing fine. And it will be difficult for him to blend in back. That's another thing. So coming back now, okay, this is not visa restrictions now. I want to come back home. Will be really hard. It will be. How will he fit into the system? So you can see that the situation is complex, and we need to fix 2 things in Nigeria: fix education, fix health. Fix education, fix health. Every other thing will fall in place. And it's sad that these 2 things are not they are not well funded. They are not well funded. All right. The Senate President, Bukola Saraki, also noted that lifting ban would help Qatar showcase its vast investment opportunities, technological advancements, and other achievements to the rest of the world. What's your take on it? Nigerians partnering with Qatar, considering what we have here. He has stated that a lot of achievements is going to come and the rest. What's your take on that? Now, it is not, let me say this, it is not, yeah, it's good to tell them to lift the ban, but you need to look at how does it affect us. Now, if you look at that statement, that Qatar will be able to show what they have to the world, that is for Qatar to decide. Okay? There's a trend in Nigeria. Our leaders are quick to solve other people's problems. They are not solving our own problem. You understand? Just 2 years ago, we had, like I said, part-time, there's always a country that is trending, Saudi Arabia. A lot of young Nigerians were moving down to Saudi to do maid jobs. How much do they earn per month? Probably 100,000 naira per month, which is that's graduate entry. An average graduate entry in the Nigerian. Most times it's lesser. Yeah, most times it's lesser. If you get an 80,000 as a graduate now, you're big. God has answered you. You are 1 in a million. 1 in a million. So a lot of them are moving down to Saudi. They're moving down to Oman. These girls are maltreated. Now, people can say, okay, they're maltreating everybody, but not all of them. It depends on your madam, as it is here. Okay, but some of them were killed. Some of them were maltreated, brutalized, to the extent that Nigerian ambassador to Saudi kept telling you people should stop coming here, because there was so much case of I want to rescue somebody, we want to help somebody back home in their own hands. So the problem at hand is not from outside. When we are now encouraging Qatar to open up their doors to showcase, the question is, as a country, Nigeria, what do we have to showcase? If we are not showcasing, what do we have to embrace? Those that are outside.
Most of our tourist centers are not even highly recognized.
Don't let us.
A friend of mine was talking about somewhere in Isaying.
Yes.
I think
Adjo Hawaii Lake.
Yes. She said when she
lake.
got there, she said that's like, I think, so there's just something of that nature too in the whole of the world.
Yes.
And there's one in a particular place whereby people go there and they pay lots of money. Why is Nigeria not making use of theirs? So she went down, she was surprised at how much we have in Nigeria and yes, we can use. And yes, we're complaining about visa restrictions and going to other countries when we can actually develop this country to our taste. If
we change our attitude towards travel, embassies will start giving us visas. There's an initiative I've been working on, we call it Erasing Borders. What is it about? We encourage people to travel for the right reasons.
Okay.
Now, there are relocation opportunities. It's a good thing to relocate, but ensure it is legal. People say, Mr. Shegun, you're a travel consultant. Why are you still here? I say, number one, it's not cheap. It's not cheap for me.
It's not easy.
Number two, I need to follow the due process. But what you see is a lot of people travel, you get a visiting visa to go to US, you overstay in US, and they'll be sharing testimony in church that God has granted it. Yeah, and they are overstaying.
No.
You understand? So now we need to the Erasing Borders encourage people to travel for the right reason. Let me cite an example. I believe every architect in Nigeria should find time to go to Dubai. Go and get a loan. Because the job they do has to do with creativity. When you go to Dubai, you are seeing Burj Khalifa. You are seeing 7-star hotels. You are seeing the tallest buildings. You understand? You are seeing architectural masterpiece. And that's why these days, if you give the drawing of your house to someone who is not exposed, they will build you one funny 3-bedroom flat.
And that's all.
And that's all. But when people travel, especially architects to Dubai, I'm just citing their case. When they see how things are done, when they come back, they won't do it the same way. That is importation of knowledge. That is part of traveling for the right reasons. If let's say, an organizer should go to a place like Germany and see how tires are being treated, you understand? They will stop putting fufu at the tip of your tire for you. They will stop risking.
So a lot of things will definitely change when
a lot of things will change. So people need to travel. In fact, I encourage people to travel, but travel for the right reason. Now, our leaders travel. People who take decisions, they travel. They see systems that work. They see, look at Dubai. Dubai moved gradually from oil to tourism. Now, everybody goes to Dubai. Are you aware that Nigerian visa fee is one of the most expensive in the world? People pay so much to come to Nigeria. As much as $200, $250 to get Nigerian visa. There was a sad incident. I don't want to mention names. There was this man. There is this man, a millionaire, and I mean hundreds of millions. And he's an investor in Sierra Leone. He's a global person. So they got in touch with me. They wanted to come to Nigeria to see room for investment. They were coming in from Sierra Leone. Do you know they were denied visa?
Oh.
Yes. I had to send them some documents for visa. They denied them visa.
From Sierra Leone to
yes,
Nigeria.
And it's the same Nigeria that is looking for foreign direct investment. So what are the ambassadors? What are they doing? How are they looking into these things? So we need to now start moving into how do we now systematically send our people out to learn and bring knowledge in. You get what I'm saying? Look at the example you cited, the man that performed the wonderful surgery. Even if he's not relocating back, can we have a training segment? Can he come and train a seminar? Can he come and impact knowledge? Can he come around? So we need to erase borders. We need to move out and come back in for the right reason. So the state of tourism in Nigeria, don't let us go there. The day the government is ready, they will spend money. But for now, they are not ready.
All right, so we've spent much of our time already. But before we wrap up the show, what do you think the government can do to stop further occurrence of visa restrictions? Because we'll still have lots of countries saying Nigerians should not come here, don't come here. But what do you think the government can do? Prefer a lasting solution.
All right. The problem, you see, Most times we look to the government for the problem, but the government is a function of the people. I say that the kind of leaders we produce in Nigeria shows the kind of followers that we have. So let's look away from the government a little bit. It starts from me and you. Let's endeavor to travel for the right reasons. Let's endeavor to share quality information. And on the part of the government, they should make this place conducive. We are not asking for much. We are not. It seems like we are asking for no, we are not. We are not asking for much. Let us build a system that is working. Let us build a system that, and I will say again, education and health. Let them fix those two things. And then you see that gradually they will start granting us visas. Gradually they will start. But when it comes to restriction, you can't tell Qatar not to put restrictions. Look at Dubai now. In fact, I was expecting Dubai to say that for like, at least for like a month, let everybody go and rest first. But thank God they didn't put the restrictions. You understand? So it's not, and those that committed the crime in Dubai, they were not government. That's individual. So let's talk to individuals. I will share the message. You share the message. Tell somebody, encourage somebody. When you're moving out, travel for the right reason. Be a good citizen. Be a good ambassador. When we connect like that and then we start to live better, then gradually the embassies, the borders will be opened and we can enjoy the world.
All right, that's the much we'll be taking on our interview segment this morning. A very big thank you to Mr. Shegun Ogunwusi, CEO, No1 Travel. He is a travel consultant. Meanwhile, moving away from every other gist on visa restriction, it's important, just as he has said, we should all travel for the right reasons. As good Nigerians, be a good citizen to wherever country you're going to. Go out, gain more knowledge, come back and make Nigeria a better place. That's the much we'll be taking for today. My name is Lovett Iguremuse. Do have a nice day ahead. Good morning.